So today, we are going to go over the homework, and then I wanted to review, and I'll have a sheet of paper that you can utilize on the quiz. Cool? Do what? No, I did it for you, pal. I knew that we were right in. Go get it. Bring back the Coke. Oh, the old one. Oh, sheesh.
I would make sure you ask questions that are making sense because we have the quiz tomorrow.
What page was homework? I forget.
103, 104, 138.
Thank you. Now, I was working on some of those problems yesterday. I realized some of them did not come to like a comfortable thing, like the axis of symmetry is like 1.5 or things like that. Number 4? Yeah, let's take a look at number 4. Could you tell me what number 4 says, please?
1/5, 1/5, parentheses, x plus 4.
Okay. X plus 4 and x minus 6? Okay. And it's like y equals or f at x equals or something like that? Okay. Perfect. So first thing, this is going to yield me the point -4 comma 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's -4. And then this one is going to yield me the point 6 comma 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Now, I'm not worried about the 1/5 right now. The 1/5, what it really does to a parabola, because it's a fraction that's between 0 and 1, it's going to make our parabola fat. Okay? Now, we can do this a number of ways, and I've been just showing the way I've been counting. Watch what I'm going to do. Watch. I have red tick marks, yes? Okay, I'm going to come in, come in. I'm going to change colors. I'm going to come in, I'm going to come in. Black, I'm going to go come in. Purple, come in, come in. So what's the only red tick mark that I haven't used? 1. So this right here, 1 is our axis of symmetry. Does that make sense? Now, so friends, how you could do this on your own paper, you can just do it with your fingers. Start here, come in 1, come in 1, come in 1, come in 1. I can't come in 1 more. What's in between? That's how you're finding your axis of symmetry in that. Does that make sense how I just did that? Okay, so if the axis of symmetry is 1, that means I wanted to find my vertex. I'm going to need to plug 1 in for x and x. So I have 1/5, and then I have 1 plus 4, and then I have 1 minus 6. So 1/5, that's 5, that's -5. Okay, this gives me -25 over 5, which is -5. So there's my vertex. I got this fat parabola. Okay? It's actually called a vertical compression if you want the really fancy-dancy math term to it, but you don't have to worry about it. So if, like, let's say the fraction was 1 over 100, it's like really wide. The closer you are to 0, the wider it becomes. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that could happen. All right, did I answer your question on that one? You feel comfortable with that? Cool. Do you feel comfortable how I was counting in to get to the middle?
Yes.
Okay. Bless you. And I'm not going to have any on the quiz tomorrow that you're going to have like I know some of the ones on this homework, I think one of them had like 1.5 was the axis of symmetry.
Oh,
Though those do indeed exist. Okay. All right. What else would you like to see from the homework?
Number 6.
6? Would you tell me what number 6 says, please?
Y equals 2x squared plus 2x plus 4.
Thank you for asking about this one. Okay, this is going to be one that it's not factored. So I have to do the A, the B, and the C. So my A value is 2, so I know it opens up because that's positive. The B is 2, and the C is 4. Okay? And I'm going to go x equals negative b over 2a. So I'm going to go negative 2 over 2 times 2. And this is one of the ones that I'm just going to get to this point and I'm going to stop because it gives me negative 2 over 4. So it gives me an axis of symmetry at negative half. I'm not going to make you do one that's a fraction. Okay. What else? So this is one that I would skip because I don't like, I'm not going to have you have a fraction as the axis of symmetry or as the x component of the vertex, because then when I plugged it in, I'm going to get a fraction for the y component of the vertex. And then though the pattern graphing will work, it becomes ridiculous where it's like, oh, I have 0.5 comma 6.25. Yikes. When you start getting in ones like that, we would start saying we're going to start using technology in the graphing calculator. Okay. Let me see what it says. Go ahead.
Equals 1/2 x squared plus 2x.
Yeah. So that's all it is right there. H at x. Okay. Yeah. I would think this is a skip because it's going to deal with more fractions, so we're not going to worry about it. Did it come out? Yeah, I don't like having the half there. Yes, it probably does come out really nice. Unfortunately, I don't want you to deal with fractions. I'm not testing if you got fractions down today or tomorrow. Okay?
Can you do 7?
7. What's the psi? X squared minus 9, like that? Cool. All right, so this has an A value of 1, so it opens up because it's positive, a B value that's not there, and a C value of negative 9. So if I use my x equals negative b over 2a, that's going to be negative 0 over 2 times 1, which just gives me 0. So my axis of symmetry is this. So the axis of symmetry goes right down here. Okay? My x component of my vertex is the axis of symmetry, and I have to plug in. So I'm going to plug 0 squared minus 9, which gives me 0 minus 9, which is just negative 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. My pattern graph is going to be A times 135. My A value is 1, so it's 1 times 135. So I'm just going to pattern graphing as a 135. So I'm going to go right 1, up 1, left 1, up 1, and then I'm going to go to the 3. I'm going to go right 1, up 3, and left 1, up 3. And then I believe we could do one last one. We'll do the 5. So I'm going to go right 1, up 5, left 1, up 5. So this is what the parabola looks like. Yours might look a little different because my spacing in my x direction was kind of fattened out. So you're going to be given a problem similar to this. Okay? Don't write anything down. I'll give you time to write down in a sec. So let's kind of walk through it together. What did I say all of the domains will be? Uh-huh. Now, I will tell you this. Down at the bottom of these problems, there are all of the answers. Okay? So if you can't remember, you look down at the answers and you use it. Now, being that there's going to be one parabola that opens up, one parabola that opens down, you probably, I don't know if we list the negative to positive infinity twice or not. And I think there's more choices down in the answers than there are answers that we actually have to do. Okay. All right. So as we progress along with this, the range. Well, you might want to skip the range and find the vertex. So let's say we found the vertex to be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say this is the vertex because we were able to look at it on there. Okay. So things that would be valuable for you on this. Don't write anything down yet because you want to squeeze this. I'll give you time, I promise. The range deals with the y value and goes from bottom to top. Okay? So what is my smallest y value that is up there? -5. And that's the bottom, right? So it goes from -5, and they have a hard bracket, and it goes to infinity. Okay? That's what the range is going to be there. Now, we already found the vertex, right? And then we should be able to do the axis of symmetry as well. So let me just pause there for a minute. Is there anything that I have written so far that you're not quite sure about? Okay. Another thing that might be valuable for you to write down. No, not yet. So a minimum, you have a minimum if it opens up. You have a maximum if it opens down. So which does this one do? Does it open up or down? Up. So do we have a minimum or do we have a maximum? We have a minimum. We have a minimum. And our minimum value is -5. It's the y part of vertex. Okay? All right, take a couple minutes, write down whatever you would need to write down for that. Okay? So you might see one down. So the domain of every one of the parabolas we're working on in here is this. Okay? Doesn't matter if it opens up or down. It's still going to have that same. The range goes with the y value of vertex. So what I would do before I go any further, this appears to have a vertex of -3, -2. Okay? So remember, the range goes from bottom to top. Okay? So where are those two arrows coming from? What's a really low value down in the bottom direction? -infinity. So this is going to go from -infinity to what? Nope. To what? -2? That's it. Okay, so a note here. That is our y value of our vertex. Okay? And then our vertex we just found is -3, -2. Axis of symmetry is going to be x equals -3. Friends, do I have a max or a min? Remember, a min is if it opens up. A max is if it opens down. Do I have a min or a max? I have a max. What is my maximum y value? And that, friends, would be very helpful, very useful on something like this. And we have roots at 5, 0. Okay, so that might be one more thing for the problem. Does that make sense?
And I would write down, how do you get roots? What are the 2 things you have to do to get a root? What are the 2 things to get roots? Got to cross the x-axis. And what else? What's your second thing? 0 on the y.
That's good information. That's just good, clean fun right there.
So if we look at the second graph, do we have any roots in the second graph? No. So what are we going to put down? Well, maybe it might. No, because it doesn't have the x-axis. So what do we put down? Question.
So it does not cross the x-axis at all. So in this case, we'd have no real solutions.
You're answering it, let's say like specific thing that you said on the.
It might. Okay, we feel comfortable? Can I move off of these? These will be actually on the on one side, probably the back side, I think it is. All right. So let me do the example. I'll do 3 examples. Okay. So make sure you have room somewhere on the front or the back to do 3 examples. Okay, we want to graph this. And things that we want to answer is we want the vertex, the axis of symmetry, and the roots. Okay? Okay, so to do this problem, this is not factored, agree? So this is going to be A equals 1, B is not there, so that's 0, C equals negative 16. Okay, now I made this one, I had to choose something. This is going to go off our grid, so we just have to realize that it's okay. The ones on the test tomorrow will not go off the grid. Okay, so axis of symmetry is x equals negative b over 2a. So that's x equals negative 0 over 2 times 1, which just gives me 0. Axis of symmetry, 0. Okay? To find the vertex, it's going to be 0 comma blank where I have to plug in. So I'm going to plug 0 in right there. And that gives me negative 16.
Are you plugging 0 in again with the
I'm plugging 0 into the original equation. Now, because I went so far down, I'm going to pattern graph a little bit further than normal. So in order to get our roots, I'm going to go a times 135, which is 1 times 135, which means I'm going to pattern graph at 135. Oh, let's see how good a stirrup can be. I don't know. Is that okay so far? Then we'll do the 3. So that's going to take me to 2 comma negative 12. And then negative 2 comma negative 12. Now I'm going to go with the 5. So that's going to be at 3 comma negative 7. And negative 3 comma negative 7. Now, you know I want 135. I'm going to go 1 extra. I'm going to go to 7. That's the next odd number, right? Those are both roots. And take a look at our parabola. And there it is. So write down what you need to write down on this. And it's like, but you have the B value listed as negative 16, so that's wrong. You're like, what do you mean? So maybe put a little note that no X here, so B equals 0. May I move on? We good? That's a B. That's supposed to be a B. I just realized how poorly it showed up. I'm sorry. Does that look better? Ready? Here I go. So this one's going to be done a little bit differently. This one, what do I automatically know? I know the roots as long as you realize it's opposite, right? Okay, this is going to give me Negative 3, 0. Notice it's opposite. So that's a root. Do the opposite of this. I get 5, 0. So go ahead and plot these. 1, 2, 3. That's negative 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5. All right, this is the one that we have to count inward. Notice I'm going to change colors. I'm going to count in 1. I'm going to count in 1. Still with me? Bless you. I'm going to count in another one. I'm going to count in another one. I'm going to count in one more. I'm going to count in one more. What do I have left? 1. So my axis of symmetry is x equals 1. Okay? That's right in the middle. What do you know? The axis of symmetry and the vertex share what part? Shares the x. And then I'm going to plug in. Okay? Hopefully I did this right, but we'll see. All right, so I'm going to go take my equation. 2, 1 plus 3, 1 minus 5. So 1 plus 3 is 4, negative 4. And I hate to tell you this, friends, but this is going to give me negative 32. But it happens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. All right, so even though this one is pretty ugly, and it won't be like this on the test, I mean, they'll all fall in the right thing, this still gives you enough information to graph our parabola. Okay? Okay, so we did one that was one way, one was the other way. And there was the 1/3 way, which are we written down? I could do quickly. You ready? All right, so let's say we have y equals 3x squared plus 6x minus 7. What's my a value? B value? C? Negative 7. Okay. So axis of symmetry is x equals negative b over 2a, which in this case will be negative 6 over 2 times 3, which is negative 1. So my axis of symmetry is x equals negative 1. Vertex is negative 1 comma plug in. So I'm going to get 3 times negative 1 squared plus 6 times negative 1 minus 7. That's going to give me 3 minus 6 minus 7, negative 13. So that gives me negative 10. So negative 1, negative 10. And then pattern graph will be a times 135, which is 3 times 135, which is 3, 9, 15. So I'm going to go right one up 3. Left one up 3. Right one up 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Left one up 9. So on and so forth. Okay, the pattern graph on tomorrow should yield you all those, but that will help you on this quiz. This yellow sheet comes back with you tomorrow, yes?
If you would like to take a picture of